Prepare for the sensory overload. Alright, enough fooling around because we have something exciting to talk about. And I can't believe I'm saying this. SwitchBot sensors are pretty exciting. I mean, like, at first when they pitched to me that they're gonna send me a couple of sensors, I was like, it's a contact sensor, which is probably the worst possible sensor you can talk about in terms of, well, being exciting about it, and a motion sensor. However, once I got my hands on it, whoa, these are different. Sometimes reinventing the wheel, it's a good idea, and that's exactly what SwitchBot did. What started as a hubless army of SwitchBots, I used one of these to automate my kettle, the video is there if you want it, turned into a pretty solid ecosystem right now thanks to different devices, including, well, SwitchBots, the curtain bots, which automate your curtain within 3 minutes. You can take a look at that video there, and also different sensors, including one of the sensors I covered earlier, which is humidity and temperature sensor, which is also quite cool. What's really cool is that you can use all of these in a hubless mode, because it uses Bluetooth, it will connect directly to your phone, well, at the cost of, obviously, you'll have to be around it. But if you want to add smart functionality, connectivity with Alexa or Google Home, then the hub is required. That will enable the cloud, and you'll be able to interact with the devices at home and when you're away. Bluetooth isn't my most favorite protocol to work with. However, SwitchBot already has API available, which means you can connect to these devices directly using a Nodle or Home Assistant thanks to API. I know it's still cloud, but, well, at least it's something. Let's start with a motion sensor. What's really cool about it? First, it takes 2 AAA batteries, which means it's gonna last for ages. It's a motion sensor or PIR sensor, which you can, well, place everywhere thanks to a stand, which is detachable and goes everywhere. At the bottom of this sensor and at the back. Why am I saying everywhere? Well, it's magnetic, so you can, I don't know, hook it up to a fridge, or you can unscrew the bottom and use the regular screws to attach it to a wall in 10,000 different positions. The sensor is actually quite big, just take a look at this. It's only that smaller than the Shelly Motion that I reviewed in this video there. So what's so exciting about it? Well, inside, apart from motion sensor, you also have a brightness sensor, which will determine whether a room is lit up or you are in the darkness. And you can take advantage of this and use it as an additional trigger. That means you're getting 2 sensors for the price of 1. Another thing is that orientation of the sensor seems to matter. In the setup instructions, I was prompted to specify whether I have pets and inform that if I do have pets, the sensor should be placed above their heads, indicating that it spans horizontally more than vertically. So if you do have pets, SwitchBot thought about it and made the sensor compatible. Obviously, if your cat's gonna jump on the sofa, you're probably screwed. One of the features that I haven't seen anywhere is the ability to use an empty room as a trigger, and SwitchBot does that, which is pretty cool. Now, you can set a custom timer and get a notification or start automation when the room is vacated. It's great if you want to link it to, for example, bedroom curtains. Once the room's been empty for 20 minutes, it'll shut the curtains for you and it'll open them again as you enter. But I know what's gonna be your next question. Sensitivity. And I'm pleased to report it's pretty awesome. You can trigger the sensor every 8 to 10 seconds, and it has 3 settings for sensitivity, 0 to 2 meters, 2 to 5 meters, and 5 to 9 meters. It will cover your room, and it's probably not advised to use it outside, even though the cover actually looks quite watertight, and I don't expect it to pose any problems. So yeah, in terms of triggering, this is the best sensor you can get. I've not come across a sensor that would have such a high report rate. Now we're gonna move to a contact sensor. And I've mentioned I'm gonna talk about why this contact sensor is so big and why the pairing button is massive. One of the reasons why the sensor is so big is the battery it uses. It uses 2 AAA batteries, which again, gonna last you quite a long time. I don't have any data how long they're gonna last, but considering how long other SwitchBot items would last, and we're talking about probably 6 to 12 months easily. The second reason why this is so big, it has a motion sensor built in, and it's pretty awesome. And before I'm gonna talk about implementation of the motion sensor, I'm just going to stick to the typical physical overview. Now lastly, the big button. Now you use it for pairing, but you don't need this to be that big for pairing. You use it for a specific action, and I'm gonna talk about it in a second. Once you start setting this up, it gets even more interesting. First, you can set it up in 3 different modes. You can attach it to your door, attach it to window, and attach it to other uses, for example, putting it in a drawer. Now, each use is gonna offer you specific compatibilities or specific functions. Now, the sensor can be triggered from both sides for your convenience, and let's talk about different functions. The obvious one is detecting the magnet. That's pretty obvious, right? It's a contact sensor. But what's so cool about it is that it works with a motion sensor and the button in itself to try to figure out whether you're leaving the room or leaving the house or entering it. In a manual mode, to register that you've exited the house, you've pressed the button and you have to open the door within the next couple of seconds. You can customize that to your convenience. This means that you can trigger specific automation that will play on exit. The same is true for entering. So when the contact opens, within a couple of seconds, if it registers the motion in front of it, it will assume that you've entered the building or entered the room. Now you can obviously configure that as well. Now these events can be used in automation. So for example, if you exited out the house, you can, I don't know, trigger all curtains to shut down. And on reverse, when you're entering, you can open all the curtains. There is also a function to do it completely wirelessly, it's in beta, and you can use the motion sensor for exiting and entry. That's pretty cool. Now that you know there is a motion sensor, you can also trigger this motion sensor for other actions, which makes it 2-in-1 sensor. But it's not true, because it's actually 3-in-1, because apart from contact sensing, motion sensing, it also does brightness. So give you information whether the room that it's facing it's dark or bright, and you can use that to trigger different policies as well. I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't expect that much, but this is the most sophisticated kind of utilization of the contact and motion sensors. I would really appreciate if other manufacturers follow the suit, because what SwitchBot is doing is quite brilliant. I'm a little bit jealous because I did a smart door, which uses 2 contact sensors to discover whether you actually lock the door, and I never come across the idea that I could pair it with a PRR sensor and detect which direction the door was opened from. Something I might add at some point. As this is being a part of the ecosystem, you can integrate it with Alexa and Google Home. There's no problems there. The contacts will show up as regular contacts. Unfortunately, integrations with Google Home and Alexa don't give you an opportunity to play with a light sensor or motion sensor, so you won't be able to take action in an easy way, for example on entry or leaving the house. I suspect this is something you can work around using API or maybe custom routines, but I'll let you discover this. Both sensors are priced at £18 each, or equivalent of US dollars or whatever currency you're using, which at first I thought it's probably a bit much. But then as soon as I started to play with and discovered how many different things you can do with these sensors, I think the price is justified. So if you are interested in SwitchBot, links obviously in the description, you can go ahead and check the ecosystem out. I'm actually very impressed with what SwitchBot's got on offer, and I'm really looking forward to the IP camera, because this is a new item that's going to be released soon and I'm hoping to get a hands on very soon. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about these sensors and whether you would use those features in your home automation. As for now, I'll just tell you, I do not have a posting schedule, so if you're interested in the next video, next tutorial, well, you know how YouTube works. I'm not going to explain this. What I'm going to say, I've got a bunch of social media that you should really follow, because I post a lot of random stuff. Probably not the best to advertise it, but anyway. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye.